All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Apple's 2026 smartphone lineup is, well, a bit of a maze, right? Choosing the perfect phone just isn't as simple as grabbing the newest model and walking out of the store anymore. Today, we're going to cut through the noise. We'll look closely at how the entry-level iPhone 17 actually stacks up against the absolute behemoth that is the 17 Pro Max, and we'll figure out exactly what to do with the unexpected middle child, last year's iPhone 16 Pro. We're going way past the spec sheet bragging rights to find out what actually matters for your daily life. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover the 2026 iPhone lineup, jump into a design and display showdown, talk performance and battery life, put them through the ultimate camera test, and finally figure out which should you buy. Okay, part one, the 2026 iPhone lineup. 3 phones, 3 completely different philosophies. It is honestly fascinating how wide the gap is this year, especially when you look at the massive spread in price, display size, and processing power. On one end, you've got the value-driven iPhone 17 starting at a very reasonable $799. On the total opposite end, the 17 Pro Max commands a massive $1,199. And stuck right there in the middle, that fascinating anomaly, the iPhone 16 Pro. It's running an older A18 Pro chip, while the 2 newer phones bookend it with cutting-edge A19 silicon. So you might be wondering, why is last year's discontinued flagship even in this conversation? Well, it acts as this legacy middle child. Apple doesn't sell it directly anymore, but authorized resellers have a ton of them. It basically serves as a budget backdoor into the Pro experience, if you can track one down. Context is everything here. You're looking at an older device that still packs some really surprising punches, which we'll uncover as we go. Moving right along to part 2, design and display showdown. We're talking feel, durability, and brightness. There is a massive philosophical shift in Apple's design this year. If you just want something light in your pocket all day, the base 17 is your best friend. It rocks a super lightweight aluminum frame, coming in at just 6.24 ounces. But the 17 Pro Max, Apple completely ditched titanium for their newest flagship. They went with a heavy 8.22-ounce aluminum unibody design instead. Why the extra weight? Extreme durability. The Pro Max features Ceramic Shield 2 on both the front and the back, making it literally 3 times tougher than the older standard. And ironically, if you absolutely must have a titanium phone, your only option here is the oldest phone on the list, the Legacy 16 Pro. Now, let's talk about brightness, specifically 3000 nits. That's the peak outdoor brightness for both the base iPhone 17 and the massive 17 Pro Max. What does that actually mean for you? It means texting on a sunny beach is totally effortless. But here is the really wild part. The standard, non-Pro iPhone 17 actually crushes last year's flagship 16 Pro, which tops out at just 2000 nits. So if you spend a lot of time outdoors in direct sunlight, the standard 17 has a very real, very practical edge over the older Pro model. Up next, part 3, performance and battery life. Let's see what's powering your day. Under the hood, the 17 and 17 Pro Max are rocking the brand new A19 and A19 Pro chips. These things have entirely new neural accelerators baked right into the GPU. Now sure, all 3 of these phones will happily run Apple Intelligence today without breaking a sweat. But if you're the type of person to hold onto a phone for 4 or more years, those newer A19 chips are absolutely your safest long-term bet. They're just better equipped for heavy on-device AI and hardware-accelerated ray tracing for gaming. The 16 Pro's A18 Pro is great, don't get me wrong, but it is officially a generation behind. When it comes to battery, the 17 Pro Max is just in a league of its own, offering a mind-blowing 39 hours of max video playback. 39 hours! That is nearly 45% more battery life than the older 16 Pro. The sheer size of the Pro Max really pays off in a huge way there. But honestly, don't sleep on the base iPhone 17 either. Thanks to that super efficient new A19 chip, it hits 30 hours, meaning it actually outlasts last year's Pro model too. Crazy, right? But here is where Apple draws a very hard line between the Pro and the everyday user. The base iPhone 17 is stuck with USB 2 data transfer speeds. Meanwhile, both the 16 Pro and the 17 Pro Max get USB 3, which is up to 20 times faster. 20 times! If you regularly move massive 4K or ProRes video files from your phone over to a computer, those USB 3 speeds on the Pro models are going to save you a massive amount of time. But hey, if you only ever back up your photos to the cloud, you probably won't even notice the difference. All right, part 4, the ultimate camera test. This is the true creator's battleground. Let's stack these rear cameras head to head. The base 17 keeps it simple with a fantastic dual-camera system, a 48-megapixel main and ultra-wide, maxing out at a 2x optical zoom. It is phenomenal for casual, everyday shots, but it completely lacks a dedicated telephoto lens. On the flip side, the 17 Pro Max boasts a triple array of profusion lenses. And the real kicker? All three of them, the main, the ultra-wide, and the telephoto, are massive 48-megapixel sensors, the whole shebang. Because of that incredible hardware, the Pro Max pulls off an 8x optical zoom range. Since it utilizes a full 48-megapixel sensor for the telephoto, unlike the old 12-megapixel one on the 16 Pro, you can heavily crop those zoomed-in shots and still retain absolutely incredible detail. If you shoot a lot of distant wildlife, sports, or event photography, this insane zoom range on the Pro Max is an absolute game changer that the base 17 simply cannot touch. The Pro Max also flexes on professional videographers with something called Genlock. This is a highly specialized pro-level feature used for frame-accurate syncing when you're running multiple cameras on external rigs. Translating that into plain English, it means you can flawlessly sync up multi-camera YouTube setups without tearing your hair out in post-production trying to match frames. And yeah, that is a feature totally exclusive to the 17 Pro Max. But hold up, before you write off the base 17's cameras entirely, let's talk about the front of the device. This is the big 2026 advantage. Both the standard 17 and the 17 Pro Max rock a brand new 18-megapixel front camera, complete with center stage and dual capture. If you're a vlogger, listen up. This gives both of the 2026 models a massive, undeniable edge over last year's 16 Pro, which is stuck with an older 12-megapixel selfie lens that doesn't support center stage at all. Finally, part 5, which should you buy? Let's actually match these phones to your specific lifestyle. First up, the iPhone 17 buyer. At $799, this is honestly the smartest buy for the vast majority of everyday users. And the best part this year? Apple entirely killed off the 128 gig base tier. So that $799 gets you 256 gigs of storage right out of the gate, which is a huge value upgrade. If you want blazing fast A19 performance, the brightest screen, a super light phone for your pocket, and you couldn't care less about extreme zoom or wired transfers, boom, this is it. You get all the 2026 upgrades without the extra camera bulk. Next, we have the iPhone 16 Pro buyer. Look, you should only really go this route if you stumble onto a massive discount from a reseller. If you absolutely have to have that premium titanium feel and you just want a budget entry path to getting a basic telephoto lens and ProRes video, it makes sense. But keep the trade-offs in mind. You are definitely settling for a darker screen, an older generation chip, an inferior selfie camera, and lesser battery life compared to the brand new base model. And lastly, the iPhone 17 Pro Max buyer. If you shoot your own professional YouTube footage, if your workflow demands Genlock, or if you simply refuse to compromise and need that insane 39 hours of battery life, this is your monster. Yes, it's heavy as a brick, and yeah, it's $1,199. But that $400 jump from the base 17, it is entirely justified by that incredible triple 48-megapixel camera, the 8x optical zoom, and unmatched durability with ceramic shield 2. We'll leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought directly from our source material regarding the Pro Max. It's a tool for creators first and a phone second. When making your choice, just be honest with yourself. Does your daily lifestyle actually demand a dedicated creator's tool, or do you just need an amazingly fast, reliable everyday phone? Look past the spec sheet bragging rights and pick the device that truly fits how you live. Thanks for hanging out with us for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.